Hey up, it's that old Yorkshire geek here. You might have caught a quick glimpse of me at the beginning before I hit the button, whatever. As you can see behind me, there we go. It's the Enterprise, which means it's Star Trek Strange New Worlds. It's Season 1, Episode 10. It's the finale of Season 1, called The Quality of Mercy. And like the Orville, this week's Orville, it's a time travel episode. But before we start, don't forget to like and subscribe and share the videos and drop a comment and use the notification bell so, fingers crossed, YouTube will tell you when I add stuff or go live or whatever the stuff is that I do. Right, so let's crack on. Right, so here we go. Right, so we start off obviously with the Star Trek Cinematic Universe logo. There it is. And obviously previously we see this captain, I can't remember her name. She's the captain of the, I can't remember. She's the captain of another ship. And we meet her again in this episode. Right, so there we go. So the Enterprise is at the Romulan neutral zone, and this is I think this is Outpost 4. The various outposts on asteroids that are peppered across the border of the neutral zone, and the Enterprise is there on a resupply mission. Wow, there's another starship there, which is the one I can't remember which starship it is. It says, and I can't remember. Anyway, but never mind. Which has got this other captain on. I should have all this information at my fingertips, shouldn't I? But I'm dopey. Let's have a look at the IMDb. Oh, the cast. That'll do. It don't bloody tell us, does it? Does it? Not on Rotten Tomatoes. Oh, I tell you, and the internet, great. Hey, IMDb, that'll do. And by the way, before we start, as you know, it's Pike's cooking again. But before we start, this is probably my least favourite episode of this season. It's the last one, and it's probably my least favourite. It's not terrible, but it's my least favourite. Captain Battelle, Melanie Scrofano, Captain Battelle. I can't remember what name of a ship is. Shall I type that in as well? We'll do a search for that as well. Let's pretend we're live. Captain Battelle. Star Trek. Right, here we go. She is the captain of, it doesn't say, does it say, we're on Memory Alpha, by the way, the USS Cayuga. Which looked like a Constitution class, didn't it? But I don't know, we'll see. It doesn't say. It's either a Constitution class or a Sombra class. Because as we saw them both, one on either side of the asteroid, didn't we? And they look very similar. I thought the Sombra class was smaller than the Constitution class, but they looked about the same size, didn't they? Whatever. But I don't think it's not a Constitution, is it? Because we know the names of them. No, there's 12, isn't there? 12 Constitutions, and the Cayuga wasn't one of them. So it might be a Constitution, what they call it, variation. Like there's all the different sorts of, like the Reliant. God, what class was that? I can't really remember now. That ship, anyway. That had all different sorts of variants, didn't it? Damn, my brain's not working today. It's this heat. It's crack-it flags. As we say in Yorkshire, it's crack-it flags here today, which means it's very hot. Not flags on poles, flagstones. That's where that saying comes from. It's so hot, it's cracking the paving stones. But we say crack-it flags. Anyway, right, where were we? Right, Pike's cooking again. This apparently is leftover noodles, and he says if you crack an egg into it and do some other stuff, it makes a lovely leftover meal. So there we go. So he gives some to Captain Battelle. Remember, they were in a relationship. Maybe they still are. I don't know. But anyway, she's to sod off and do stuff. And Pike has to go. Oh, hang on. And my computer froze up. Hey, did it. My computer froze up for a second there, but I think I've got away with it. I'm back. I do believe. Still recording, I think. We'll see. Anyway, so I'll carry on. No, it's frozen up again. Oh. Are we going to have problems here? Are we going to have problems? Well, I'll plod on. So there he's looking happy. Right, so he goes for this a meeting. Here we go. With, I think is he Commander Hansen. I think he's a commander. I think. Obviously they've got a different com badge on. He's obviously in charge of the... There we go. In command of the of Outpost 4, and this is when he sees meets his son, who's called... actually, no, he's not Commander Hansen, is he? He's somebody else. But they call him Hansen later on the episode, unless that's somebody else. But he looks a lot like him. But his kid's called Maat something or other. See, I'm confused already now. Does it say in this? Maat al-Salah. To all cast and crew. See, I've got to look this up now. Got to look this up. Where the hell is he? Oh, right. Oh, his first name's Hansen. Commander Hansen al-Salah. Oh, right. So we're calling him, I thought Hansen, but his last name. I think you are in, as you'll see, we go into a situation that we've seen before in Star Trek. Remember, Outpost 4. You know, if you're a fan of the original series, you know what that means, neutral zone and all that. Anyway, so where were we? So anyway, sees his son, meets his son, Matt al-Salah, and he realises, does Pike, that kid is one of the kids that dies. It's not the one that he saves, it's one that dies in the accident that takes away his face and his body and everything. Puts him in a wheelchair. So he can't stand that, so he leaves the room. He says, I'm not feeling well. And he says, Commander Riley, Chin Riley and Spock can answer any of your questions. But then Una follows him out, leaving Spock by himself. And she realises he's one of the names from Pike's future. So Pike goes to his quarters, and then there's somebody there already. And you're thinking, hang on, who's this here? But this looks a very familiar style uniform, apart from the arms. And it turns out... oh, for God's sake. Here we go. I'll just play it. It's easier, isn't it? Come on, there we go. It's Pike. In a, Mighty Maroon, or whatever the hell they call it. From the 2280s, isn't it? From the Wrath of Khan era. But they've modified it, haven't they? They've got these silly bloody sleeve things on that they've got to put on, haven't they? In all Kurtzman Trek. They were doing so well this season as well. They were doing so well. But I think maybe Alex Kurtzman has had more fingers in this final episode than he has in the rest of the season. That's my theory. Anyway, whatever. So, right. This actually is... I don't know what rank... Is he an Admiral? Is he Admiral Pike? I'm not sure. I'm not up on the ranks insignia from that uniform. I've got one. I've got a cosplay one that's got a commander thing on, but I can't remember what the others were. Of course, I'm a nerd, but I'm not that much of a nerd that I've got all this memorised. Anyway, so he's come back from the future using remember the time crystals on, is it Boreth? I think it was Boreth. The Klingon time crystals. He's come back using them. It's from an alternate future where something bad happens. And it's all to do... Pike were writing a letter to this Maat al-Salah, basically telling him not to join Starfleet, because, it'll kill him. He's trying to save this kid's life. But It'll have dire consequences. I love that shot. I do. It's still too dark as the Enterprise, but I do. That's a nice shot, is that? Anyway, where were we? Right. Day. So there it is. I don't like that sleeve. See, they've spoiled it, haven't they? Couldn't they just left it? Couldn't they have just left it as it was? They've got to change stuff just for the sake of it, haven't they? So anyway, so he tells Pike that he's brought this time crystal. Pike's got to touch it, and it'll show him or take him to wherever what he's got to change, what's got to end up differently. So basically, what happens is this kid doesn't join Starfleet. Pike doesn't do the exercise that disfigures him. So he remains captain of the Enterprise, and this is what we see in a minute. He gets the time crystal out. Pike touches it. Our Pike touches it, and whoosh! He's whooshed apparently forward so many years into the future. I think it's 7 years into the future. And we've seen he's wedding people. Now, we saw this in the episode Balance of Terror, didn't we? Captain Kirk were marrying. I can't remember the names. I should look this up as well, shouldn't I? I should have all this at hand, shouldn't I? Let's look it up. Balance of Terror. Balance of Terror. Star Trek, the original series. Season 1, episode 14. Where are we? Lieutenant Tomlinson and Ensign Martine. Yes. They've got first names, I do know, but it's not telling us, is it? There. Robert Tomlinson and Angela Martine. That's who he's marrying at the beginning of the episode. And obviously he's a bit... he doesn't know what's happening. He's just arrived there. He doesn't even realise where he is for a moment. But luckily, an alert, which happened in the original series, didn't it? An alert occurs, and he's called to the bridge by Mr. Spock, who is his number one. So he goes to the bridge. There we go. We see Uhura, Lieutenant Uhura. I wish they'd changed her hair. I do wish that. Anyway, so he enters the bridge. Sees Spock's in the captain's chair. Commander Spock. So anyway, something's happened to Outpost 4. They're under attack, so they set a course. Ortegas, she's acting a little bit different. She seems a bit more aggressive in this episode. She's playing the role that Styles played in the original series episode. Obviously, there's no Sulu, but they've put another Asian person there for some reason. And we're going to get to see... oh, no, we're not. Never mind. When we see Uhura, they've given her she's got like a uniform that's similar to what Uhura wore in the original series, but she's still got a short, close cropped hair. I don't know what they call it these days. I thought it might have grown out a bit. They could have, stuck a wig on her, made the hair a little bit longer. But they didn't. But never mind. Anyway, so Pike explains to Spock what's going on. Spock doesn't really believe him, so Pike says, "Do a mind meld with me." No ifs, no buts. Just get on with it. Mind meld with me. Pardon me. So he does that. So obviously Spock believes him because he knows he's telling the truth. And so what they've got to do, so he's got to play things out, as they happen. So they go to Outpost 4. I think they get in touch. I think the USS Farragut contacts them. There we go. They get the transmission from Outpost 4. That's Commander Hansen, Al Salah. It's all burning. He asks him about his son. He says, thankfully, his son's not there, so he's obviously somewhere else, so he's safe. So they go to the Outpost 4. I think he gets an external view or whatever, and they see... There we go. Oh, see it get destroyed. We got a Romulan bird of prey appears, like it did in Balance of Terror. It fires its thing in there. We got all blows away. Commander Hansen goes flying. And that's Outpost 4 destroyed. Oh, there's a hood. Look, she's going to turn around. Oh, for God's sake, I want to see her uniform. There you go. See, she's got a wider collar on it. They could have given her more hair though, must have. But that's just me. It's not important. Hey, they get a transmission from the captain of the USS Farragut, and it's Captain James T. Kirk. Obviously, he's not captain of the Enterprise. In this timeline, that's still Christopher Pike. So they arrive. It says they managed to get up to warp 9. I don't know how they managed that, but I think warp 7. I think maybe they pushed warp 8, maybe occasionally in the original series, but warp 7 was the norm, maximum, wasn't it? Warp 9, no, I don't think so. Because remember, the difference between warp 8 and warp 9 is like a lot. Because the warp scale is like orders of magnitude, isn't it? So it's not like just one more, it's a lot more. Anyway, so they head to Outpost 4. They agree to work together. He has a meeting with Sam Kirk, Jim's brother, with a nice graphic there, the neutral zone and the Romulan Empire and the outpost dotted along it. Sam tells Pike that Jim is as good a captain as Starfleet has, but he does like to bend the rules regularly, and he doesn't like to lose. We know that. We know he doesn't like to lose. Kobayashi Maru and all that. Anyway, so that's the Farragut. I don't know what class it is. That's the Enterprise. There's a comet there, and they decide that they can use that to find out where the Romulan bird of prey is. Obviously, the bird of prey will pass through the comet's tail and make itself visible, but that doesn't happen, as we'll see in a minute. He plays a good part. There's let's go back a bit. There's this I forgot his name, but that's playing Kirk, but he's a bit skinny. He's not. William Shatner were like a bear of a man, wasn't he? He was a big chap, but this is a bit scrawny, isn't it? It looks it anyway to me, but he plays a good part, I suppose. Anyway, so this is what they're deciding what to do. Obviously, I think Pike basically has the more experienced captain, so he kind of has authority over the mission. So Kirk, defers to his judgment more often than not. Anyway, so they decide they're going to do this, but the Romulan commander outwits them, and there we go. And something's going to happen. Let's just play it and see. For God's sake! And it fires its weapon at the Farragut. What's that upside down for? There we go. Oh, yeah. Oh, another thing as well, yeah. They open fire. Let's go back a bit further. I think that's the Farragut, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, there's the... you can't see. The Romulan ship shooting at the Farragut. Pew, 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 pew. Yeah, I think fair enough. Then they fire back. And, they've changed the phasers back to how they were. Like in, Kurtzman Trek. You ready? Look. Oh, I hate that. Anyway, so the Farraguts are gone. Look at that, look. You think that a lot would be dead. Anyway, the Enterprise starts beaming over survivors. The Romulan bird of prey, starts attacking the Enterprise. The Enterprise is shooting back, with its stupid phasers. Look, it's getting ready to fire its weapon at the Enterprise. Move out of the way then. You're going to move. Oh, and it clips the nacelle strut. But the Enterprise is a tougher ship than the Farragut, obviously. Anyway, they're being the survivors over. Oh, he meets Laan, who were a commander on the Farragut. There she is, look. Very different. He asks about Una. So obviously he doesn't know what's happened to Una. She does. We find out later. She's in prison. We find out later why. Right, so anyway, so obviously Kirk's okay. He beams over with the survivors. So anyway, the upshot of it is Pike wants to talk to the Romulans. So he talks to this is the Romulan commander, not Mark Lenard, obviously. I noticed these Romulans have got TNG brow ridges. I think all of them that we see do, which is strange. We saw them in Picard, didn't we? Some of them did, some of them didn't. Apparently the northern Romulans have the brow ridges and the others, the southern ones, didn't. But I don't know. There we go. This is the... Oh, no, man. And the Romulan commander is, is like in the original series episode, he's a bit war weary, doesn't want to fight and stuff, but his Centurion is a bit more, gung-ho and calls for reinforcements and stuff. But, Pike wants to talk, says, they shouldn't start a war just because of this. And he agrees that, like a truce, to repair and stuff. Because apparently the phasers and torpedo launchers are down, so Spock is up a Jeffries tube trying to fix, relays and stuff. And we hear the chief engineer of the Enterprise over the intercom who's got a Scottish accent. We don't actually hear his name, but it's obviously Montgomery Scott. Right, so anyway, as we go on, he's saying, it's called for reinforcements. Here, the reinforcements arrive. This is the Praetor, so obviously this is the leader of the Romulans who's come, as for some reason, I don't know why, but she's come with a fleet of Romulan ships. See if I can get a shot of that. Oh, I bet I can't, because I'm useless. Is it going to show us it? They're going to show us. Oh, there we go. There we go. See, there's the fleet of Romulan ships. Birds of prey and other ones. I presume the war birds. I don't know. But she's talking to them, saying, negotiating's basically for the week. But they're going to get their own backup any minute now. Meanwhile, I forgot to mention, Kirk had borrowed a shuttle earlier and warped away. I didn't know original series shuttles had warp capability, but it's another Kurtzman Trek thing, isn't it? Something else, all this season they've kind of, that's why I think Alex Kurtzman had more to do with this last episode than the rest of the season. Anyway, Kirk comes back with their backup. Here he is, look, and their cavalry, who they say, is Federation attack ships. If we can see him. Come on, show us. Crying out loud. Oh, never mind. Anyway, it turns out, I tell you, I can't find it. Ooh. She looked familiar as well, I must admit, but I looked her up and she's not, I don't know who she is. Does it say Praetor Caroline Scott? I don't know who she is. She looked familiar. I've probably seen it. She's probably one of these actresses that's been in a lot of stuff. Anyway. Come on, show this fleet that Kirk brings. It basically brings loads of mining ships, automated ships. There we go. But they don't know that. They can just scan them and just find that there's no life signs on them. But whatever. It's just a distraction. But anyway, the Romulans, they destroy their own ship because he got caught, and basically a war starts. So, the shooting starts in a minute. Here we go, here we go, pew, 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 pew. They use the unmanned ships as cover, and the Enterprise warps away, before it can get destroyed by, the overwhelming force. But the Enterprise does get damaged, and there's a lot of casualties, and one of them is Spock. And we'll see in a moment. Here we go, in a minute. I don't know where McCoy is. McCoy was in Balance of Terror, but he's not in this one, is he? Angela Martine. She dies. I think they were the other way around. I think in the original one, I think it was Robert Tomlinson that died. But here we go. We see Spock. See, he's lost a leg. He's all burnt and stuff. And they say, if he does recover, he'll not be the same. There's a lot of damage. So that's the price that Pike's paying. Obviously, Nurse Chapel's upset because she loves Spock. Notice they put her in blue, by the way. Right, so we go back to his quarters, and I think we've gone back to the present time. The present time of Strange New Worlds. That's showing Pike with Admiral April, Robert April. That was probably when Robert April handed over the Enterprise to Captain Pike. So basically, what Pike learns is that if he is in command of the Enterprise during the Balance of Terror incident, a full-scale war will break out between the Federation and Romulus, and it's still going on in the 2280s from whence old Pike came. So basically and obviously he wasn't supposed to be there because of his accident that puts him in a wheelchair. James T. Kirk's supposed to be the captain of the Enterprise, and we know how that went. He sorted it all out, didn't he? And there was no war. So that's what Pike learns. That's basically the upshot of that. No, they haven't gone back to the future yet, but never mind. He has one last meeting with Jim Kirk, the slightly scrawny Jim Kirk, but never mind. And then he goes back to his own time, and then something happens. Goes back to the bridge, and everything's back to normal. By the way, Uhura's still on the bridge here. By the way, as a cadet, she's still got a cadet badge. I thought she'd sodded off it last episode. I thought the cadets had left. Or maybe they hadn't had time, I don't know, but I thought she had. Anyway, never mind. It goes back to the bridge, and Commander Una and Kirk get called to the transporter room because Captain Battelle is there with the security detachment, and she's there to arrest Una Chin Riley because they found out she's an Irilian, this genetically modified species, not species, people, genetically modified humans, and she didn't declare that obviously on her Starfleet records. So she's broke the law. She's under arrest, and that's what she goes to prison for. I'm sure we'll see her in season 2 though, but we will see. So and basically that's the end of that episode. That's the end of season 1. Which were a bit, I did enjoy the episode. It was nice to see Kirk and stuff, and the space battle and stuff, even though the phasers were crap. They didn't fire any torpedoes, did they? Never mind. Like I say, I think Kurtzman had more of a role in this finale than he did for the rest of the season, which is why the rest of the season were good. But this one, it wasn't as good. I thought the Orville did it better this week. For the first time this season. But it was okay. It was okay, mostly. Good to see Kirk, and nice Jeffries tube there, that's reminiscent of the original series with the bright colours and stuff. Yeah, it was okay. It was okay. Nice to see La'an again But obviously it left it with a cliffhanger for season 2. What's going to happen to Una? Does she go to prison or does she not? I don't know. She did in the other timeline, but does she in the regular timeline? I don't know. We'll see. I don't think she will. I think he'll work it out so she can stay as his number 1. So yeah, so we'll leave it there. That's it. I did enjoy it, but it wasn't as good as we'll get rid of that. There we go. It wasn't as good as the rest of the season. It's probably my least favourite episode of the season, and even last week's, which it wasn't great. Well, last week's, was it? These last 2 episodes kind of let the season down a bit, haven't they? But what you gonna do? I bet Kurtzman noticed how well it were going and thought, I'd better get my elbows in here. And mucked it up. But never mind. So I'd give this one a 6.5 out of 10 for this one. So it wasn't great. But it was nice to see the balance of terror told in a different way. Obviously Pike being more diplomatic, wanting to talk things out, whereas Kirk, is the action man into the way he confronted the problem was the way that was needed, and Pike was not the man for that job. But never mind. Right, we'll leave it there. So until next time, wherever you are in the galaxy, look after each other, and I'll see thee.